In the Express,
first,
here is an I don't believe it, but it's true, possibly. Rolling Stones coming back 50 years since they formed.
Yep.
Ronnie Wood, who was a replacement guitarist, of course, saying, they might be coming back for another tour.
Well, they've had a farewell tour.
Yeah, well, this is the farewell tour.
Well, how many farewell tours can you have before people start laughing and saying, I'm not paying the money?
Three, look, Bill Wyman, Mick Jagger, of course, his name.
Who's the one in the middle?
Yeah, Keith Richards, the three original members.
Well, it's been a long time, isn't it?
50 years. It's hard remembering names like that. That's why he needs to come back. People didn't forget him. Mick Jagger.
Those are your papers this morning. Let's go over to Steph now. As we're saying, a deal finally been reached on a second bailout for Greece. What does it mean, Steph?
Yes, good morning to you both. It took 13 hours, can you believe, of all these ministers locked together trying to decide this. So it's certainly a complicated deal, but it's finally in. Good morning, everyone. Yes, it took a marathon meeting to get the details agreed, but they are in. European finance ministers and the IMF have approved a £110 billion bailout, which means for Greece that they should be able to meet their £12 billion debt repayment, which is due next month. Now, under the deal, you'll see a bond swap which will see £84 billion written off Greece's debt, and that will mean that the people who lent money to Greece, the banks and the insurers, will get less of their money back than they originally agreed, and it will take longer for them to get that money too. Now, that's a loss, or what the financiers call a haircut, of 53%. In return, Greece will have to continue with its public spending cuts of £1.8 billion, which will probably mean another 10 years of pain for the country. Well, with me now is Roger Bailey, who's a Eurozone expert from KPMG. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Where does this leave Greece now?
Well, I think many businesses who we're working with will look at Greece and see this as a welcome move, but remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint, so they won't be celebrating, they won't be breaking out the champagne. They'll be watching the situation very carefully, looking at the austerity measures, looking at government spending and consumer spending in Greece, and considering how they change their businesses to operate in this environment.
Do you think it will bring confidence back about Greece? Because that's been one of the big issues, hasn't it? People just really worried about what's going to happen next, the uncertainty.
I think it will take a series of positive moves to bring confidence back over time. I don't think any one summit and any one development is going to solve that for people.
And what are you've done a report on this. What are businesses saying about the future of the Eurozone?
Well, we surveyed 3,000 people across Europe, Middle East and Africa. 79% of business leaders that we surveyed thought that one or more countries would exit the Eurozone. But rather surprisingly, only 36% of them hadn't prepared any plans for that eventuality. And so our view would be that it's wise to plan. Whatever happens, nobody knows what's going to happen, but whatever happens, it's better to have a plan and have thought it through.
But how do you plan for not knowing what's going to happen? Because there are so many different ways this could go. Will Greece survive in the euro? Will the euro survive itself? Will more losses have to be written down? How do you plan for that?
Well, it's a big challenge, but you've got to think through various scenarios, look at the consequences for your customers, your operations and your suppliers, think about the currency situation and what might happen. And there's no point in wasting a lot of ink on this, but making some practical defensive measures and putting some monitoring in place is a good idea for businesses.
OK, Roger, thanks for your time this morning.
You.
That's it for me for now. I'm going to continue looking at this. It's such a big deal for Greece. I think I'll be back again on the sofa talking more about it shortly.
All right. Thanks very much, Steph. Thank you.
Now, most people have entered a few competitions of some sort. You might have been lucky enough to win one yourself. What do you think you might win, though, if you entered a competition every single day?
Well, for some...